Hello, everybody. This is Arspis. Today, we're going to talk about who is philosopher, and who is a person who understands philosophy, or who is a person who knows philosophy. And is there any difference between these two, or are they the same? Well, the answer is yes. There are differences between these two statements. Well, we have some rules and principles on philosophy. We had approximately over 300 rules and principles in philosophy. They were based on reasoning and logic in ancient Greek. It actually continued from the time of Socrates and Plato and Aristotle up to some philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, and these people for approximately about 600 years. And then we have a kind of decline in Greek philosophy, and then we had a kind of incline in Persian philosophy, Eastern philosophy, like Persian philosophy and the philosophy we had in Spain. Well, in that time, it was occupied by Muslim, and for I don't know 600 or 700 years, Spain was occupied by Muslims. But anyway, those times there were some philosophers in that area, like Averroesian. He was actually following the philosophy of Aristotle, but we also have some other philosophers in Persia, like Avicenna. He was also following peripatetic philosophy. Peripatetic philosophy is the philosophy of Aristotle. In that period, those rules and principles increased up to 700 and maybe more. So we also call those rules and principles as maxims in philosophy. So what are those maxims? They are like the mathematics formulas, the formulas that we have in mathematics. There are some rules and regulations that they are proven, all right? So when you are going to think about something, you can refer to those rules and formulas, and you can actually prove your statement, or you can reject it. But he is not able uh, to have his own idea, or he is not able to add something to philosophy. For example, say, all right, this person added one rule or principle to philosophy. If he does so, then he will be considered as a philosopher himself. So, in order to be a philosopher, you should be able to analyze the thinking of the other people, of the other philosophers during all these 2,500 years, or maybe more, if you consider other philosophers like Heraclitus and Parmenides before Socrates. But you are capable to add something new. For example, we had, I don't know, maybe 9 categories. This category I say, is a kind of philosophical term. In Aristotle philosophy, in Greek, they say categoria. But Immanuel Kant wanted to add something new to those categories, to those 9 categories. Okay, but I'm not gonna talk about Immanuel Kant, if he actually he was successful, if was or not, because anyway, Immanuel Kant was a great philosopher. Anyway, even if we say that, all right, he failed to add any category to those categories of the Aristotle in those kind of rules and principles. But a person who knows philosophy can actually talk about philosophy for hours and hours, because he knows philosophy pretty good. He knows the ideas of the other philosophers. I'm not going to say that this is a bad thing, because it is somehow impossible to add something new. Can we say, all right, we are going to invent some new formulas to mathematics just right now? It is not an easy job for even for big mathematicians to do so. But they know mathematics pretty good, and they can actually use it in a kind of pragmatic way. For example, I myself am not a philosopher, but I know philosophy, and I can talk about philosophy for hours and hours. But at the end, this is you. You can pass judgment about whatever I say. You can refer to the wisdom, to your wisdom, and if I say, okay, this fact is proven or it is not proven, then you can think about it. If it was proven, then you can accept it. If it was not proven, you can say, all right, I do not agree with your statement. I'm not in agreement. So that was the difference between philosophers and and person who knows philosophy. And right now, in this world, we have a lot of people. We have a lot of people who are interested in philosophy, and they know a lot about philosophy, but we do not have that much philosophers. Well, at least at this moment, I think we do not have any philosopher. Just like what we had about some decades ago or some centuries ago. Well, but there are a lot of people that they can help you with those rules and principles of the other philosophers that they prove some statements. And by the way, in order to learn philosophy, you don't necessarily have to go to university and study philosophy as a kind of university major. You can actually read a lot of books, and then you will reach a level that you can say, all right, I know a lot about philosophy and talk about philosophy. Thank you and take good care.